Hey guys, what's up? This is Eddie coming back at you. As we've been talking about an increase in cash offers, as a buyer, you may have to question, can I compete with a cash offer? I'm being financed. Can I compete with a cash offer? The short answer is yes. Yes, you can. You can still win with a financed offer as well. But there's some things that you need to greatly consider. All right. So the first thing is your offer needs to be of greater value than the cash value. All right, so now that goes without saying. Now, as you go up in your offer, it really doesn't mean anything unless you have the cash to back up the difference. So let's just say you go in for a home, it's listed at 185. You make an offer for 200,000. All right. So the seller wants to know, okay, if the home doesn't appraise, how much of the difference are you willing to make up? So that's called an appraisal gap addendum. So if you're willing to go 200,000 and you're willing to cover that $15,000 gap in cash, meaning you have $15,000 in the bank, have that $15,000 appraisal gap contingency. And if your offer is $15,000 more, or maybe even $10,000 more, maybe even $5,000 more than the cash offer, the seller will seriously consider that. So that's number one, the appraisal gap addendum. Number two, you want to write an as is contract. All right. In order to compete with cash, you're going to need to do as is. Now, there are two as is options that you have. You can do an as is with your due diligence period. Now, typically we have 10 days due diligence. I recommend lessening that to maybe 5 days so you can get your inspectors out there quickly, have your due diligence. Sellers know you're not going to ask them for anything. You're just doing the inspections just for your information. Now, if you want to sweeten it, you could do an as is with no due diligence. That means I'm not going to have any inspections. I'm not going to ask you to do anything. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Maybe if the home is, a year or two old and you think that, chances are there not going to be any major issues, maybe you want to consider that. But typically, I'm going to want to have that appraisal gap addendum if I were the buyer. All right. So as is contract number two. Number three, you want to be able to close quickly. So one of the benefits of a cash offer is they can close 7 to 10 days. They can close. So you want to be able to compete as much as possible. So if it's going to take you 45 days to close, you're probably not going to compete with a cash offer. If it's going to take you 30 days to close, you're probably not going to compete. So you want to try to get within 15 days. So most lenders nowadays, I've talked about this in an earlier video, most lenders will do an advanced underwriting approval for you. That means they'll go ahead and submit all of your information to the underwriter, have everything approved. They're just waiting on the home. So then you'll only have to do your title work. Now that will put you in position to compete with the closing time frame for a cash buyer. So do those three things and you will be in great shape to compete with a cash offer. Number one, make sure that your offer is more than the cash offer. Now they're not going to tell you, but just put in your highest and best offer first. Number two, make sure you have that appraisal gap addendum. Really doesn't mean anything if you're going $15,000 above and the home doesn't appraise. So you want to make sure that you have that appraisal gap addendum covering the gap of the appraisal and whatever your offer is. Number three, you want to go with that as is contract. Remember, as is, the seller doesn't want to make any repairs. So if you tell them, listen, you don't have to worry about any repairs, they're gonna like that a lot. And finally, you want to have that quick close. Once again, that's one of the great benefits of a cash deal. You can put your home on the market 1 week and close that next week. If you can compete with that, if you can do these three things, then you're going to be in great shape to compete with the cash offer. All right. If you guys have any questions, if you want to sit down with me and personally come up with your plan, we can do that. Just reach out to me. You have my number 803-497-7112. You can hit me up at eddieadamson.com or you can email me at eddie.l.adamson@gmail.com. As always, guys, if you are not subscribed to my YouTube page, please do me a favor. Please do me a favor and subscribe. I love to create videos such as this to keep my clients educated. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Hope you guys have a blessed day. All right. Bye-bye.